Craziest thing I've ever done, probably wing walking on a biplane. Thrilling, man. Getting onto that plane, taking off, and it's a biplane. It's got a massive prop in front of it, and taking off was one thing. And then suddenly we stabilize, and he says, he kind of gives me the sign, and we do a barrel roll. And all you're standing on is really a bit of what felt like grip tape, with a little pole that comes up and a hip belt. And then we kind of flew upside down. And the air-to-air cameraman had to kind of get into position to get the shot, but he took a little long. And at some point, I'm starting to slip out of this belt, and I'm trying to tell the pilot, I'm going to fall, you know, but he was just holding the shot so we can get the jolly cameraman in place. And literally, it felt like at the last minute, you know, just brightens up again, and my eyes are this big, and, you know, and I thought once we'd seen everything, barrel rolls, flown upside down, I just wanted to now land the plane. We came into land, and that massive prop whipping around and this plane heading for the ground, that was probably the most terrifying moment.
Man, what a rush. I'm blown away. You won't believe, my cheeks are blown away, my hair's blown away, my eyes, it is incredible. You cannot believe, that must be the closest I've been to flying.
So, fantastic, thrilling, amazing experience. The following day we shoot a little story in a lodge close by. That night the cameraman knocks on my door, late at night. Open up, yeah, he's pale, he's ashen, again. What happened? He said, I recorded over your wing walking experience. Ha! Are you kidding? No, you know. And we had to go back the following day, repeat the whole thing. The pilot was not impressed. Cost us fuel, cost us all sorts of things. Didn't quite get the footage we originally had. But yeah, got to repeat one of the most thrilling things I'd ever done. What a joy.
As for the most chilling, he'd come here to Finland, not for a weekend of sledding, cross-country skiing or ice fishing. No, he'd arrived just in time for the polar opposite of a long, hot bath.
Hey, what a perfect day to go diving in Jamaica.
So scuba diving under a frozen lake in Finland sounds like a fantastic idea. Absolutely game for that. Why? Who wouldn't want to do that? Until I'm standing on the edge of this hole in the ice and they start pouring boiling water on my equipment. And I'm going, why? And he says, well, we don't want it to freeze. And that's the same reason we don't want you to breathe in your regulator above the surface, you know, in case it freezes and when you drop down or submerge into the water, you can't breathe. I'm like, really? All of a sudden, it wasn't so fun anymore. And then we get to the edge, and I drop into this freezing water, which was actually a whole lot warmer than outside, minus 20 degrees. And all of a sudden, I get flipped upside down. Air just moves all over in my dry suit, and suddenly air runs into my legs, pops my fins off, and I'm bobbing upside down in the water, my head, my feet straight up. And all I'm wanting to do is, can I get my head out and sort of breathe again? But I remember him saying, don't come up if you go down because everything will freeze and then you're really in trouble. But yeah, there was a moment where I really felt like panicking and thinking, this is not great, I'm getting out of here. But then thought to myself, just be calm, don't panic, think about the story you can tell your kids one day. And they've heard the story. Too often, actually.
Then there was the story.
So this is the flight suit, or the G suit as pilots like to call it. This will prevent me experiencing the effects of G forces. In other words, stopping blood rushing to my legs in positive Gs, and I'll actually cut now because this is a bit funny, I'm sure.
But worth it for a trip into near space aboard a Soviet-era fighter jet that defined the Cold War.
So here's a question I get asked all the time. What was your most amazing experience on top living? I would say it was going over to Russia, getting to a MiG, and flying up at 2.5 times the speed of sound to the edge of space, literally into the stratosphere. Nothing can explain it. I mean, you thrust up in this massive engine. You're sitting on a rocket. In fact, you're sitting on explosives, you know, the ejector seat, but you're sitting on this rocket, you go straight up. You thrust as fast as you can until there's no more air to thrust off of. And we get to this kind of pinnacle point, and the plane just dips off, and you're weightless just for a moment. But at that moment, you look up through the canopy, there's just this blackness. You see the stars, and below you see the curve of the earth. I mean, that's, correct me if I'm wrong, 70,000 feet up. It's ridiculously high, you know, and then you literally nose down and you plummet toward earth again. Spiritual experience, I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. And on the way down, you know, the pilot says, in you know, his Russian accent, "You want to fly?" You know, I'm like, of course, man. You know, who wouldn't want to fly a MiG? So I take the joystick and I kind of little to the left, little to the right, you know, cool, Top Gun, you know, and then he says, "Let me show you." And he whips the stick around, and this plane just goes, and I'm literally all over the place. And then just had this kind of moment of nausea welling up in me and going, please do not spoil this experience with a vomit bag. You know, managed to hold it down, but as far as experiences go, that was literally and figuratively the highlight.
Hello, doctor.
Most fulfilling has been taking all this vast media experience into producing and presenting SABC3's The Dr Mol Show.
So what top billing has afforded me is a wonderful platform to be able to launch a brand new show. And with the Dr Mol Show, I get to take my love of medicine, of people, and of media, roll it into a neat little ball, and play with it. I mean, it's just the thrill of being able to teach on prevention, on just telling people the basics. You know, did you know this? Did you know that? For years, people would come up to me and saying, I love top billing, what you guys do, the places you go. I'm so envious. It's a wonderful life, you know, and those are wonderful compliments. But now I'm getting people coming to me saying, man, I quit smoking because of what I saw on your show. Or I went for this test that you told us to do, and you know what? My cholesterol's high, and I can do something about it. You know, or I've discovered I've got diabetes, but I'm treating it, and I'm doing so much better. Thank you. You know, that kind of feedback just kind of floats my boat. So the transition to the Dr Mol Show just been great.
To infinity and beyond. That is Buzz Lightyear's call, and Dr Mol looks like he's answered it.
Live the best life.